All right, hello. Welcome to another episode of Sessionwire Live. My name is Brendan. I'll be taking you through Ableton today. We're going to be building a headphone QMix. This will be a pretty quick live stream, I think. Depending on the questions that you may or may not have. I see Mark has asked a question already. Is Sessionwire a DAW? No, Sessionwire is not. You can head to www.sessionwire.com to see what Sessionwire is all about. It shows the app interface that I'm going to be going through today. It is an application and a set of plugins and features that allow you to collaborate with anybody, anywhere in the world, using any DAW on either side of the call. So head to www.sessionwire.com. Check it out. We have lots of videos up there in the Learn section. You can check out what Sessionwire does. You can also watch this live stream, and I'll be kind of going through some of the things that Sessionwire does. So, without further ado, we're going to jump into Ableton here. I think that, yeah, you should be able to see this and my floating head there. So, if you are not familiar with Ableton, this is it. Yes, real-time collaboration. Yes, there's a difference between real-time collaboration and live jamming and rehearsing, though. Something to bear in mind. There will always be latency in a call over the internet between two or more people. That is something that will never go away, regardless of what anybody tells you. So, yes, and it works with Pro Tools. So, we're going to jump into Ableton here. Let me see my little mix here. I'm just going to set up just a little bit of panning because everybody loves some panning. I have a session here. I've just kind of flown some drums into it on these tracks here. So Mark, this will be, you know, very similar to the timeline in Pro Tools. I can see a signal showing up in all my meters. I can hear it locally. You can't hear it at the moment, but we're going to change that. If you're wanting to check out the Pro Tools version of this video, you can go to our YouTube channel. The live stream from the Pro Tools version is up there, and you can check it out. You can email any questions you might have to support@sessionwire.com. So I have my session here with a bunch of drums. You can hear it. You can't hear it. I can. So the typical way of setting up Sessionwire alongside Ableton is you would just grab our Sessionwire Send plugin, and we have our app here. I'll put it always on top. And the way that the Sessionwire app defaults, all you need to do is take the Sessionwire Send plugin, drag it onto the master fader of Ableton, which I will do here, dragging, oops, come on. There we go, dragging it onto the master fader. And if I hit play, you can hear that audio now. So that right there is broadcasting my entire mix in Ableton across the Sessionwire connection to Dan Smith, who I'm connected to at the moment. We're in an active Sessionwire call. Dan Smith is my laptop over there. So I'm broadcasting this entire mix. What if I don't want to broadcast the entire mix? What if I want to send Dan a custom mix, like a headphone cue in a studio? For those of you that remember back in the day, headphone cues are what you would set up on a giant mixing console. You'd adjust the sends using the knobs to create a cue mix for somebody who's tracking in the studio. So if I wanted to set up a custom headphone cue mix for my Sessionwire collaborator, I'm going to create a return track. I'm going to label this return track Sessionwire Send because that makes the most sense to me. I'm going to switch to session view here. Yeah, it's called session view, I think. Sessionwire Send, I like to change the color to Sessionwire Orange. I'm going to change the audio to sends only. I don't want to hear this myself. It's just going to be used to place the Sessionwire Send plugin on. And now Send C on all of my audio tracks here goes to the Sessionwire Send plugin, which will stream across to the person on the other side of the call. Now, all of these C sends right here are at 0. So if I hit play, you can't hear anything, and the person on the other side of the Sessionwire call can't hear anything. However, if I adjust my mix, bring in a little bit of the kick drum, bring it up to unity maybe, kick drum, mono overhead, a little bit of snare drum. Pretty good. A little bit of the room mics. there we go. We've got a custom cue mix being sent to Sessionwire via this return track right here. Again, audio 2, I've set it to sends only. If I left it on master, I would essentially hear, it's like a parallel kind of like bus. I would hear my main mix plus the kick, snare, mono overhead, and room mics added on top of that. So everything would be louder locally. You can see I'm clipping here, which is not good. So I change this to sends only. I can also enable the sends on my effects here. So if I wanted to send some reverb, maybe on the snare drum, you can't hear the reverb yet, but if I slide this up, you'll be able to hear the reverb, right? What about delay? We'll send it some delay. Ooh, check this out. Send you the reverb. Inadvertently created a really cool kind of groove there. That's beside the Sessionwire point. So there we have it. We've got this custom mix that I can send anything in the session to the person on the other side of the Sessionwire call by adjusting send C. Now, if I was going to bring audio into my session, we're going to do that really quick, just so I can kind of demonstrate how, we're keeping the incoming stream and the outgoing stream separate from each other. So I'm going to get Dan to play some music here. Let's try this one. Okay, so we see Dan's meters moving. You can hear that. I think you should be able to hear that. I want to bring that into Ableton. So I'm going to change the HQ audio destination. I've changed the HQ audio destination to Sessionwire receive plugin. So now I can't hear it. You can't hear it. We see the meters moving, so we know that he's sending audio successfully. We need to bring that into Ableton. So I'm going to create another return track. I'm going to label this Sessionwire receive. And again, I usually like to change the color. I'm going to change the audio 2 to external out 1 and 2. And this is just something that I like to do. So instead of sending this incoming audio, as we'll see, straight out the master fader, it's going to go straight out my external outputs 1 and 2 without touching the master fader. So if I have like processing on my master fader, it's not going to go through that. So I'll bring the Sessionwire receive plugin in here. Boom. I can hear that. You can't hear it. But that's... Oh, pause that. Pause. So that's okay. I can hear that audio just fine, and you can't hear it because I'm not looping it back through the Sessionwire Send. So that's why it's kind of important, at least in my mind, to set the audio 2 to external out 1 and 2. External output. Send it to whatever your speakers are plugged in on your hardware device, instead of leaving it set to master, which, it'll still work. I see the signal now showing up here, but now my master effects chain will affect what I'm being streamed, which 9 times out of 10 for me, I don't really want to hear that. So there we have it. We've got audio going from Ableton out to the other side of the call, and audio coming in to Ableton from the other side of the call. A couple of things that aren't necessary. Sessionwire is designed to default to your system inputs and outputs for the talkback stream specifically. So anything like Zoom or Google Meets, you set Sessionwire up exactly like that. Pick a device that you can use as a microphone, and a device that you can hear audio out of without using the talkback plugins. If you were doing a session, and this isn't something I typically see with Ableton, if you're doing a session where you're using Ableton to mix headphone cues for local recording, you can set up headphone cues exactly the same way. Insert a return track. I'm going to label this headphone cue 1. And the sends, I'm going to, send audio 2 to external out. And I need to add more inputs and outputs here. Oh, I can't because I'm using Sonar works. Let's try this instead. There we go. Now I've got all my inputs and outputs available. And I'm going to change the external out. Again, need to add all of my outputs. So if you don't know about this either, you can enable and disable all of your physical inputs and outputs with these little menus in the audio preferences. This is a bit of a pain. I wish they had a like select all or enable all button. There we go. So now if I go to external out, I have all of my hardware outputs available to me. So if I had a headphone amp plugged into the outputs 11 and 12 of my audio interface, I would pick this. And headphone send or Q send E now is for somebody who's listening on headphones locally. If I wanted to send them the incoming audio, so Dan's playing audio, Dan's playing the audio. If I wanted to send that audio to that headphone set in my local studio, I would enable send E because E is for the local headphone Q1, and I would slide that up. And there we go. So whoever's in my local studio listening to headphones that are plugged into my output 11 and 12 would now hear the incoming audio. Same thing goes for the talkback stream. You can decide to bring the talkback stream into Ableton if you choose. Typically, you know, the only reason you would need to do that is if you were using a Pro Tools HDX system where you're locked out of Avid's drivers in these drop-down menus. Or if you need to broadcast the incoming talkback stream to whoever's in the studio. So again, I'm going to create an insert return track. I'm going to label it, to change it orange, and this is going to be Sessionwire talkback receive. And I'm going to get Dan to talk here, which is just my voice. So let's see. Oh. There we go. Oh, my computer didn't like that. There we go. Okay, so Dan's talking. It's coming straight out of my speakers right here. You can probably hear two of my voices. I'm going to change the speaker to Sessionwire Talkback Receive plugin. And on this F right here, I'm going to insert the Sessionwire Talkback Receive plugin. And now my voice is showing up in Ableton. I'm going to select sends only for the output of this. And if I wanted my local person in my studio to hear this, I would enable send E and turn this up. And they would hear Dan's voice coming from the remote side of the call through this plugin on this strip to send E to my local hardware output 11 and 12. I hope that all makes sense. It can be, become quite a bit of a routing nightmare with some of these advanced audio interfaces and remote collaboration. So if you have questions, please reach out to us at support@sessionwire.com. Head to www.sessionwire.com. Check out the platform, sign up for your free account. You can connect with somebody just like I am in this call with video and our talkback stream for free on our creator plan. When you upgrade to the, when you upgrade to the artist plan, you get the HQ audio stream, the plugins, our talkback auto mute feature, which as soon as you hit play in Ableton, it mutes the talkback streams. Our file transfer system where you can drag an audio clip specifically in Ableton right out of the timeline onto the remote person's face, and it will transfer through Sessionwire. And keep an eye out for version 3.0 announcements coming up soon. Lots of exciting things coming with 3.0. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next stream. I have to check my calendar here. The next little bit is a little bit crazy. If anybody's in the live music industry, touring is back in full swing. Let me check my calendar and make sure I have the date correct for the next stream here. Should be Wednesday, July 27th. I'll be creating a headphone Q-Mix in Studio One. Wednesday, August 3rd, potentially doing a live guitar tracking session. So keep an eye out for that. And then there's a couple weeks off after that. So please keep an eye on your emails for announcements about upcoming streams. If you have any questions, again, please reach out to us at support@sessionwire.com. Very happy to answer your questions. We'll see you in the next live stream. Cheers.